Hello to all you patriots out there in podcast land, and welcome to episode 262 of Canadian Patriot Podcast, the podcast where I make my triumphant return. We're recording on August... No, we're not. We're recording on October the 5th. Okay, so I haven't been on the show in a minute. How's this work? We're recording on October the 5th. My name is Andrew. I might be your host. I might be really, really drunk. We'll see. Joining me tonight, we have Gavin, Ian, and Benny.
We'd love to hear your feedback about the show. We'd love to hear all about your thoughts on Andrew's triumphant or not so triumphant return. Please visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com/feedback or email us at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. A version of the show is available on iTunes and Stitcher. We might be a little backlogged. New episodes are coming.
You can check the podcast out on Facebook.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast and Instagram at Instagram.com/Canadian Patriot Podcast. I guess we need your help. To support the show, visit Patreon.com/CPP and become a Patreon. You can get a better quality version of the show for just $1 per episode. Since we moved to the 2-show-a-week COVID format, patrons also get early access to the midweek show. So you're not a communist, buy a CPP t-shirt for just $19.99 plus shipping and theft. Visit CanadianPatriotPodcast.com homepage and follow the link on the right.
All right, that takes us to my favorite segment, primarily the reason why I do this show, called What Are We Drinking? It's where I ask my co-hosts, what are we drinking? And I'm going to start with Gavin. Gavin, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking Jack Daniel's and Diet Pepsi this evening. And I may have had a little bit of a heavy-handed pour on this one, so stand by.
So, no Pepsi, huh?
No, there's a little bit for color. And not just the color commentary.
Hey, Ian, what are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee, hot, blonde, and strong, just like my beautiful bride.
She doesn't listen, does she?
Well, if she does, it's brownie points.
So you'll get this, like 6 to 8 months later?
Probably.
There's a lot of things about how we could say that we like coffee the same way as women, but most of them are not very polite.
Yeah. That's why I tried to keep it clean.
I appreciate that. Keeps us from getting kicked off the YouTube. And congratulations, gentlemen, on not getting us kicked off of YouTube in my absence. Go to Benny. Benny, what are you drinking?
Water. I'm working on the 2 liters.
Good man.
Oh, come on. I was done that by 5 o'clock. Slacking, Benny.
Yeah.
The important thing is he's doing it. I am drinking porter from Black Swan Brewing in Stratford, Ontario. Delicious. To remind everybody about the Patriot Challenge, Benny's drinking his water. We're asking Patriots to do 5 things every day. And those 5 things are exercise, practice a skill, read a book, drink your water, and complete 1 task to improve your life. I would also really like it if you went to our website and used the template to tag us in our social media so that we can re-social media your post so that other people see the challenge and maybe participate. Because we did receive some good feedback about that. Because somebody was like, I'm doing this thing because it's for me. Because there's a lot of other challenges on social media that are for other people, and this is for you. But also, It's kind of for me, because in some point in the future, we might want people who are well-read and have skills and are in good physical condition for reasons.
Yeah. You might need to become a man among men. Or something like that.
And not once have we asked you to eat Tide Pods or lick toilet bowls.
Well,
To go back to a previous podcast challenge, do you want to know more?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's more of a book club, but anyway, we should talk about book club too.
Yeah.
Book club will be this Wednesday. Book club has always been the first Wednesday of the month. Book club will continue to always be the first Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
And this month we'll be doing George Orwell's 1984. And I think we're actually going to be able to record this Wednesday, barring any more like emergency visits to hospitals or unplanned absences or renovations or any of the other exciting things that have been going on.
Sounds like it should be a double plus good episode.
Well, yeah.
Going to be very
All of them
close to
are.
Crime Think. We're going to be verging on Crime Think.
I'm crime thinking right now.
I crime thought earlier. Get into some news. That's really the reason we're here on Monday nights. I mean, that and to drink with my friends on the internet. But
Yeah. Social distancing and all.
well, I mean, it's important to maintain a respectful physical distance from you. I don't know where you've been or what you've licked recently.
Yeah.
Do some news. We're going to start with the CBC. You know, the company that keeps getting money while their viewership keeps going down. That's not actually in the news. That was just a funny thing that I read this week, that the CBC can't figure out why they're losing viewers despite annual increases in funding from the government. It's almost like those two factors are not related.
Yeah. If you keep spending more money on terrible programming, nobody's going to watch.
I really like getting rid of Hockey Night in Canada probably is what killed their viewership. That would be my guess, because
That's
why
the
else
only
would you
thing
watch
people
the
watch,
CBC?
Well,
Why else would you watch CBC?
Yeah.
You're
the endless state propaganda? I don't know.
you're an uninformed elementary student. That's why I did it.
I mean, I guess, but is there even anything good on CBC anymore?
That's the trick. That's the point. Not anymore.
Was there ever anything good on CBC? It's the real question, though.
Yeah, Corner Gas was pretty funny, and
I used to listen to the
Hockey Night in Canada.
As It Happens and Sad Goat when it was Sad Goat. It was a good radio show that they had.
So let's go to the CBC News. COVID-19 case counts will drop artificially as testing moves to appointment only, experts warn.
Also,
Anytime I see
sky is
experts
blue and
warn in a
white.
headline, it's like sources say. Do they now?
Can you
Sources.
cite these sources?
Who are these mysterious sources that you have, and where do I get them?
Usually they're anonymous too.
So even if they are a real expert, as Gavin said, the sky is blue and the grass is green, and the sun rises in the east.
I mean, like, you have this thing where, like, the numbers are going up. Yeah, because we've tested more people, so of course we're going to find more positive tests. But as long as the ratio between the number of positives and the number of tests stays the same, you don't actually have any new cases.
Well,
It's not anymore.
I think-
so, yeah.
But we haven't had a
this
death
is
in
one
like
of those fun, like,
69 days. or
lies,
something.
damn lies, and statistics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
So
that
go
you
ahead,
think
Benny.
No, I was gonna say I was listening to the radio today. When I was picking up my son, and they're saying how like, oh yeah, our numbers are jumping and it's so high, and someone's even been hospital, and 2 people have even been hospitalized. But we haven't had a death in, I don't remember if it was 60 something days or 6 weeks or something. It's some ridiculously long period of time, where it's turned into what people have been saying from the beginning, where if you're not, one of the people who are overly susceptible to it, you're not over 60 and you don't have some other kind of
2.6
disease,
other conditions.
yes, then you're fine. So
Yeah. Shocking.
I don't want to call it a nothing burger because there are people who've died from it, but it's going to turn, if it is seasonal, it's going to turn into another flu. It's not going to be such a big deal.
I don't even think it's going to turn into the flu. I mean, yes, everybody that did die from it is tragic for those families, and certainly, it's a big deal to them. But like statistically, and as soon as you say that, you sound like you're just like some, heartless drunk on the internet. But like statistically, it is a nothing burger.
I mean, what did Stalin say? 1 death is a tragedy, 1,000,000 deaths is a statistic.
Yeah.
Exactly. You notice how the media
Like-
uniformly went from talking about deaths to talking about cases for the second
Yeah,
wave.
because as soon as all the people in the old folks' homes died off, they couldn't talk about deaths anymore because they just weren't happening.
And they
Well,
proclaimed
and
the
a
second
lot of
wave.
that, I think, has to do with the whole comorbidity thing that we've talked about before. Is I don't think that they were reporting the first wave accurately, just like how our government was going to close the borders and shut down all the travel to flatten the curve for 2 weeks. P.S. I'd like to congratulate everyone on our 6-month anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I don't see this as being a real problem. I know the experts are all upset. And I mean, legitimately, some of these statisticians and some of these doctors in various, call them administrative roles, want accurate numbers to work from because they need real numbers for their models in order to do predictive analysis and in order to be accurate. And I understand that. But also, if the number of cases goes down proportional to the testing decreasing, does that not mean that the amount of cases we had before was proportionally higher because testing was being done a lot through the summer? Like, doesn't that also mean that the numbers were not, let's call them reliable to begin with?
Well, they proclaimed the second wave based on this increase of cases, so I'm assuming they're going to call the second wave over based on a decrease of cases in the same vein, right?
I really doubt it. I would like that to be the case, but I really doubt it.
Yeah.
The whole increase in testing, because I mean, like, what's Ontario doing? Ontario was doing like 70,000 tests a month last month, and now they're doing like 50,000 tests. No, pardon me. That's like per day numbers, not per month. That's a lot of tests. That's a damn lot of tests.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the numbers will go down, and then they'll still get to say that now that they've announced that it's going to be artificially low because there's less testing.
Well, and I want to talk about the
still
testing
say
too,
that we're in the second wave, until politicians, not scientists, politicians decide that we're no longer in the second wave.
You guys remember earlier, I guess it was late last week, they started doing testing for asymptomatic people at pharmacies.
Yeah.
So testing is down, but there are more places doing testing. Somehow we have less tests being done. But also the new tests are now being done for asymptomatic patients.
I believe they've cut down on your people's ability to test, like in general. Like
but
that's not a thing anymore.
Yes.
Well, but that's because the numbers are going up, and we need to limit contact, Benny. I mean, how could we limit contact if people are going and getting tested wherever they want, willy-nilly? They have to stick a thing up your nose. That's within 6 feet.
How is it we were doing so fine until all of a sudden they started upping the restrictions? I know that's not like there's a reason.
I don't think that there's anything different going on. I think it's literally like through the summer, the amount of tests, the amount of available testing increased, and then the amount of cases increased, because I don't think a lot of these tests, and I know that there are a few different flavors of tests, but we have also had cases with contaminated test kits that, without having been exposed to a patient, come back with false positives. We had early test kits where almost 50% of the cases were going back with false or I shouldn't say cases. 50% of the tests being performed were coming back with false positives. So we have faulty tests. We have, I guess, other faulty tests. Those are two different kinds of faulty tests that are being run. And now we have a change in availability of testing. More tests resulted in a greater number of cases showing up. And now a decrease in available testing with the appointment model is going to somehow skew the number, according to some of these physicians.
Yeah.
Which, I don't believe any of these numbers to begin with. I don't think the government has been honest about any of this in the first place, because if they were, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, masks will save the world, and none of these things have been effective or true.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did they extend the emergencies in like every province? And
well, Ontario was 60 days times 3, right?
Something like that, yeah. And then how many times have they had to add on extra gibs for the people, and now they've had to make it permanent? Like, come on, this is not 2 weeks. This is
no, and the border was never really closed, and travel wasn't really suspended, and even people that were, I'm not going to say we're not essential, because that's probably not fair to them or their profession, but there were a lot of people that were able to get exemptions to be considered essential employees that, strictly speaking, are not required, are not essential. Like, everyone
Yeah.
I work with as an example.
Well,
I mean,
The average Tim Horton employee. Really? Is it really
But-
essential?
Right. If you don't get your coffee every day, there's people that are going to
I mean,
go crazy.
You can always just make
Tim
your
Hortons
own.
could be. Wait, what? You can do that?
You can make coffee at home, it turns out. I'm serious.
I don't. How?
Yeah.
Not
But
a
how am I
thing.
supposed to get my extra large 4x4 in the morning to get the motivation?
The quad.
Man.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't even know where vanilla lattes come from. Where would you even find one?
Vanilla latte trees? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Why is it
what
never
I
a
need to-
bush?
Yeah.
We've got bad experiences with bushes.
Ooh.
Yeah. The 70s were horrible. Oh, you mean
That's
a different
not what I
bush?
meant at all. That's terrible. That should not be in your coffee at all. So yeah, Corona continues to be fake and made up, and I'm not happy about how the government in Ontario is handling it because lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yeah. Remember when Dougie was our guy? I want that guy back.
Yeah, I want old Doug back. I thought he was doing really well there for a while, but I guess I'm wrong.
Seemed to kind of turned a corner right when he started congratulating Chrystia Freeland on becoming the new health minister. How she was amazing or finance minister. Sorry, finance minister. I'm talking health, I know.
Then, I mean, right around the same time that liberals are going, that Dougie's doing a good job.
It's like, whoa. How did they get to you?
I want the old Ford back.
Yeah.
Let's do another one. This is good. This week in Parliament, Liberals unanimously survive first confident vote with Corona benefit bill. This is on Global News. So everybody knows the House is back in session. You guys talked last week in my absence about the throne speech. They're basically like the salt guy meme. They're just fucking making it rain on F-bomb. Well, that's not bad. 20 minutes in.
17 and change. But yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
We
Rounding
round up.
up. So
Yeah.
making it rain, giving everybody their commanded emergency response benefit, which
Yeah,
is now
they're like
becoming
this, and they're like sick days for everybody, but no more than 10.
well. And what
For now.
happens if I do? I mean, this is maybe a thing that I should be emailing my corporate HR people about. But like, do I get 10 more sick days now, or does the 10 sick days I had before just?
Poof.
Well, no,
you
everybody
get,
those same
you
10?
get your 10 provincial sick days, and then you get your 10 federal sick days. Right?
No,
That's how
no,
that
they're
works.
Do I
one
get
or the other.
do I get more sick days or no?
No.
Because I feel like the answer is no.
No more.
Also, welcome to coalition governments, because now this is going to be, as long as the Bloc or the NDP agree with the Liberals, they're going to stay in power.
Well, and this is the thing that was kind of, I mean, I figured that the throne speech would go through and they would get their majority that they needed. But, I mean, the Bloc was pretty dead set about giving it the thumbs down. But I guess with the guy off with the COVIDs, you know, he didn't have anyone else to be like, nay. Like,
I mean, okay, so yeah, Yves, the leader of the Bloc Québécois, has been COVIDified and isn't able to be in Parliament. And O'Toole had a similar problem for 2 weeks there, although I think his quarantine is coming to an end. I think he's in Parliament now.
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'm
Either
gonna
way,
say
but
O'Toole's
like,
back in. But the Bloc, as much as they're going to argue and say that they're not getting along with the Liberals, there is no advantage to them to actually do anything about it.
they were signaling really hard that they were going to poo-poo the throne speech, and then nothing, not a single vote on their side to vote it down.
Well, and that's what I mean. It's going
Yeah.
to be like, it's going to be a lot of rhetoric and tough talk, but not any action.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, like we've said,
why
you know,
would they
they've
do
had-
something that puts themselves in a worse position?
Yeah, they've had how many years to get off the pot, and they've done neither, right? Like, if you want to separate already, just separate. Just pull an Ian Smith and just be like, we're done.
Peace.
I don't think Quebec could pull an Ian Smith.
Well, no, because nobody's Ian Smith but Ian Smith, but they could at least try, at least have the testicular fortitude to give it a shot.
I don't think they could because they're like, well, I mean, like the difference is like, well, Ian Smith is going to do what he's going to do, and then when the oil runs out, they're going to have to play ball.
Yeah.
Quebec doesn't have. Quebec is not only dependent on outside oil, which I mean, the Smith government figured out how to solve that problem themselves. Quebec is dependent on the federal government for basically everything because of transfer payment.
I mean, they could withhold the cheese curds, and that would be a start.
I mean,
and then the smoked meat.
Yes, but we can make cheese curds elsewhere.
We already make them in Ontario.
But their strongman wears a bow tie, so he doesn't exactly exude strength. I mean,
would you mess with a dude in a bow tie? I wouldn't.
Not enough to hang on to. Like a tie, you can really,
Yeah, you get some leverage.
Interesting, though, that like the Saint Hubert guy, chicken, wears a bow tie. Maybe that's like a French thing.
That was a Colonel Sanders
Could be a
ripoff.
French thing.
Yeah, that's a different tie, though. That's a Southern tie. Equally as weird.
Something. I am really kind of at a loss, though. The estimated measures for this new, primarily there's a bunch of other things in the Corona package, but primarily this seems to have to do with sick days. And the Minister of Employment said this is going to cost the federal government $34 billion. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get how sick days are going to cost the government anything other than if they're giving them to their employees. It's going to cost my company a shit ton of money, though, having to pay people for 10 days where they're not there.
Right, and it's going to be passed on to businesses, and I get that, but I don't understand how the government arrives at $34 billion in costs. Half of that, give or take, $17 billion of it is more COVID-19 related measures as part of the bill. Okay. What's the other half? Like, what government money is being spent for sick days? Or, like, what else is in this bill? Because I do not understand how they arrived at these figures. But it seems like it's going to go to Senate, and it seems like it's going to receive assent in short order.
Which is funny, because I thought Trudeau was against omnibus bills, so it should have been just COVID relief and nothing else. But
well, it is COVID relief.
I've said it once. I've said it before. Anytime a Liberal opens his mouth and says they're against something, they're just projecting what they're going to be doing in the future. They're just telling you they're
every time I hear a politician talk, I buy another box of 9mm.
You're going to run out of space in your house very quickly if you keep up with the show.
Foundation, bud.
Yeah.
Front of the house sits 3 inches lower than the back now. All right, let's do another one. This is a opinion piece in the Financial Post, kind of like this. Jack M. Mitz. Chrystia Freeland's tough week trying to defend breathtaking permanent spending plans. So as finance minister and deputy prime minister, Freeland's getting taken to task pretty hard. Not hard enough, but more than Morneau ever got taken to task on this stuff for.
Yeah, but he at least seems to have an understanding of basic economics. He's not very good at it, but he had somewhat of an understanding at it.
Well, I mean, you put French fry in the ground and then you get French fry empire. That's how it works.
This chick is completely off the rails.
Oh, it's terrible. Have you watched the interviews? I saw her there was a clip of her on Global over the weekend, and it was atrocious.
well, she's not even remotely qualified for the job. But hey, with feels.
Yeah.
Gender parity and stuff, though.
Yeah, we're going to grow the, economy from the heart outward. And the budget will balance itself.
Well, and in this case, the new Liberal catchphrase is that not all spending is equal. This is the phrase that Freeland's been.
No, some of it is more ridiculous than
days.
the last thing.
Yeah, so there are most of the last week, Freeland's duties have revolved around the fallout from the throne speech. There are apparently two different things going on: temporary financial supports during the pandemic, and then the new permanent spending. Although it's not super clear what's getting translated from temporary into guaranteed basic income, because that's where this is all going, is guaranteed basic income. Fraser Institute puts the cost for COVID spending at $22 billion. It works out to $40,000 per Canadian in COVID spending. I don't know about you guys, but I haven't gotten my $40,000. If I just check my QuickBooks real fast here, QuickBooks says the government has given me precisely nothing. In fact, I've been paying them.
That's so weird. Me too.
Huh.
I mean, they gave me money one. Oh wait, no, that was just them giving me my money back. Never mind.
Yeah. A tax credit is neither.
Yeah.
A for effect on the YouTube. Money printer go brrr, which is one of our favorite memes.
Yeah. The other favorite meme is very similar, but it's milling machine go burr. This is a joke for anyone that's listening.
Extrajudicial helicopter go brrr.
Yeah. I mean, the A10 kind of makes a similar sound, but there's a T at the end.
Yeah, we don't have A10s though. Call the Americans for those.
Yet. We don't have them yet.
Yeah, they just need to take them out of service for the American Air Force, or is it the Marine? Whoever flies them. Just have to put them on, take them out of service, and then we'll buy them.
No, we would buy the shell of it.
As per
Which
SOP.
doesn't include anything else.
Yeah, with no engines or avionics.
Yeah. And then we would say that we
so
have
it's like
one.
buying a submarine from the Brits. I see.
Or a drone.
Or anything.
Yeah.
Or buying back the tanks that we sold somebody else and they just repurpose them and change the nameplates. Yeah.
Cave in Afghanistan go brr. The Albertan may not have a terrible idea. I don't know if I want to go to Afghanistan, but like some of those Kyber pass guns.
Yeah. Some of them are better than, well, sadly, Canadian-made guns.
Oh, did you hear they're coming out with a pistol?
Great. Can't wait.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's
not be
much
first
else
in
in this article. I don't know if there's much else in this article worth talking about. There's a bunch of numbers and GDP spending and stuff, but the sum total of it is the government is giving out a lot of money, but I can't figure out where any of it's going because I'm not getting it.
Yeah. So basically it was, Morneau was like, I bet you can't spend more than me. And Freeland's like, hold my beer.
Well, and a lot of this spending doesn't, I mean, I guess some of it makes sense, but a lot of it doesn't. Early learning and childcare. Okay, but that's not a federal issue. That's done by the provinces. Long-term care. Okay, but that's not a federal issue. That's done by provincial governments. Expanded EI reforms for self-employed. Okay, I'll give you that one, I guess, but I don't understand how that's going to work because you don't get EI if you're self-employed. Pharmacare, that's provincial. Climate change spending, I don't like where this is going. Retrofits and electric cars, I definitely don't like where this is going. And a permanent old age security boost at 75. All right, I can get with that one. And disability benefits similar to guaranteed income supplement, affordable housing, water treatment, and housing for Indigenous Canadians, rural broadband, and support for regional airline routes. So, government seems to be giving out a lot of money lately. Like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys know that we still don't have clean water on some Indian reservations?
Still won't.
And that we still
Funny,
have a
that was
bunch
an
of
election
homeless
process.
people and a bunch of other stuff.
I'm so glad we're getting regional airline routes, though. Those are really
Yeah.
helping.
Well,
But
they
you know
say
what? You know what the problem is? It's those damn veterans that are asking for too much.
Gosh, they signed a contract and now they want us to hold them to it?
they should be satisfied with their privilege.
Yeah.
They're probably white.
Not anymore because we're not hiring them.
Harjeet
No,
said so.
you're mistaken. We're not hiring white people to work for the Minister of National Defense. The Canadian Forces is different. they'll still hire white people as long as they identify as women. We're not hiring men anymore. That's not official because they won't put that policy in writing, but like, go ask your local recruiter. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, they did put it in writing about that article a while ago. It said they wanted to have 50% women within 10 years or whatever it was. So
yes,
they kind of did.
They want to have parity within 10 years, but go down to your local recruiting station and ask them if you can get a job as a dude, because the taps have been turned off. Let's do another one here. We've got OPP charges 4 after people assaulted in Georgian Bluffs. This is going to be a good one. This is in the Owen Sound Sun-Times, a well-known newspaper. It is at least a legitimate newspaper. So, suspects were found on Saugeen First Nation. The police seized from them, get your notebooks out, a loaded handgun, $20,000 worth of purple fentanyl, methamphetamine, and drug paraphernalia. I'm not sure why it's worth noting that the fentanyl is purple. I want to know if that comes up again in the future.
That's how they know that it's like in Breaking Bad with the blue meth. They know it's Heisenberg. Meth. Yeah. But there's got to be some guy that he's like the Heisenberg of the fentanyl game, and instead of blue, it's purple.
He probably calls himself Prince.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out why the headline is OPP charges 4 after assault in Georgian Bluffs when they just made a huge drug bust. Like, you'd think that would be part of the headline, like huge drug bust.
That singular handgun is super important.
But they don't even mention the gun. They just say after assault in this place.
Well, so there was assault. The 4 people charged displayed a firearm and assaulted occupants of an apartment in Georgian Bluffs, then left. Let's get on to the charges, because the charges are kind of interesting. Gray Bruce OPP charges a 17-year-old from Kitchener with possession of a loaded weapon for a dangerous purpose, as opposed to the other kinds, I guess. Carrying a concealed weapon, unauthorized possession of a weapon, possession of a loaded, prohibited, or restricted firearm, possession of a firearm or ammunition while prohibited, possession of methamphetamine for the purposes of trafficking.
How do they know
possession of fentanyl for the purposes of trafficking.
How do they know it wasn't all personal?
It's a size thing after it's a certain
It's a size thing. Yeah. I mean,
size doesn't matter until it does, I guess, right?
Size definitely matters. Despite what you may have been told, size always matters.
If it's big enough, it's not just for you.
Let's look at the firearms charges, because the methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, fentanyl charges, those are all kind of interesting. $20,000 worth of, and again, I want to know if it matters that it's purple fentanyl. I want to know if that's important. But let's look at the Albertan has it. Well, let me see if I can't really do an Albertan voice, but let's see. Oh shit, that's the fentanyl that turns the frogs gay. Let's look at the firearms charges. The person being charged is 17. Remember, there were 4 people charged.
Yeah.
The person being charged with firearm stuff is 17. Okay, so he's got possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose, so he's carrying it for some reason. He's carrying concealed, which is a second charge. Unauthorized possession, so he doesn't have a firearms license. It's loaded. Well, I mean, that makes sense. He's carrying it concealed for a dangerous purpose, so okay, all 3 of those. And then possession of a firearm or ammunition while prohibited. So he already has a weapons prohibition.
Weird.
So he's 17. He's not allowed to have firearm. Not only is he not allowed in that he doesn't have a license, he is specifically barred from owning a firearm.
He's doubly not allowed, yeah.
Right. So he specifically has a weapons prohibition. And he's not allowed to be in possession of the firearm. And he's carrying it loaded and concealed and for a dangerous purpose. Like, this is like all of the firearms charges. I don't think that you can get more firearms charges than that. But
so
again, like, we're the bad guys
years.
because we have guns.
Well, yeah.
What's that, Ian?
So you're saying he'll get about 3 years tops?
I $20,000 worth of purple fentanyl. I bet the firearms charges don't even stick.
Yeah, I was thinking they make it look impressive because they have all these firearm charges, which he incurred by having a single firearm while loaded with ammunition, which, for any gangbanger who's going to be caught with their, without their
Doesn't
ammo.
do you any good if it's unloaded.
Exactly. At which case, so you're getting all these charges for the one act, and they're all going to get dropped if they can either drop all the charges and go for his supplier, or even just drop the gun charges and still go for a supplier. So,
well, let's do a couple of these other ones and draw from this what you will. We've got Peter Messiah, 21 of Mississauga, meth for the purposes of trafficking, fentanyl for the purposes of trafficking, Schedule 2 substances, another unnamed 17-year-old from Kitchener, concealed weapon, methamphetamine for tracking, fentanyl for tracking, person under 19 with cannabis, because apparently he had cannabis in his possession. I'm going to go with that one being personal use.
Yeah, but aren't they allowed up to 3 grams now?
but he's under
Not
19.
if you're under 19.
They are though. Remember, we were supposed to put the whole legalization thing forward in order to not have kids get drugs. Except we made an exemption so they were allowed to have some small amount on them if they were underage.
So it's probably
Oh,
more
is that the
than
case?
the amount.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
have to see what it is, but like
more
there
than
was
the
some.
exemption, not enough to be trafficking.
I wonder what his concealed weapon was.
Well, that could be
I'm
a
going to go
pocket
with
knife.
knife because they didn't give him any firearms
Yeah.
charges.
Right.
Yeah,
that's what I was
it's probably a
thinking.
pocket knife of some kind. But
And finally, we have Mohammed Abdallah, 19, Kitchener, 5 charges on possession of trafficking.
So what do you think the odds are that the 2 guys that they've named are the ones that actually had the pocket knife and the gun, and they handed it to the people that are underage?
Well, you
I
think
mean-
that the first one would have realized he already caught with a concealed firearm because he was
But
charged with
he's-
knowledge.
He's still underage, so like even if he kind of gets tried as an adult and all that, which he won't, like it all gets kind of magically wiped away when he gets a little bit older.
There's 2 ways of doing that. Yeah, maybe.
Yes, there are.
So, the thing I wanted to draw with this is that clearly, as licensed firearms owners, everyone on this panel is the problem because of all of the... What laws are we breaking again?
Us? Oh man, where do we even start? Yeah.
I mean, the list is so long.
I mean, there's got to be at least a half a dozen thought crimes in the last 15, 20 minutes.
Well, I did name names, and if you wanted to draw conclusions from those names, I wouldn't stop you.
Yeah, we won't stop you from committing thought crime yourself.
Do another one we've got on the star. Yes, that's right. We're going with the red star. Oakville men charged in historic $4 million fentanyl seizure, the largest in Halton Police Force's history. Which
Weird,
is
that's-
probably for the best, since fentanyl is a relatively new thing and the Halton Police have been around for 5 minutes.
It's kind of weird that there's a lot of fentanyl arrests going around lately.
Yeah,
It's almost like
it's
that's
the
a bigger
drug of
problem.
choice.
Yeah, and it's almost like a bigger problem than law-abiding firearms owners.
No.
I mean,
From what I remember you guys talking about this in the past, it doesn't seem like it takes all that much fentanyl to reach these numbers. So like to say in the past when you had like to reach $4 million, what was it? It was $4 million. $4 million of
Yeah,
weed.
$4 million.
You need like several trucks, but like 2 suitcases and you're good.
Bushels and bushels. So in this case,
Yeah,
they,
a bushel of
the Halton
fentanyl
Range-
is a lot smaller volume-wise than a bushel of marijuana.
I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure bushel is a volumetric measure. I'm pretty
way.
sure it's a volumetric measure. I don't think it's a weight. But anyway, in terms of weight, the Halton PD recovered 10 kilos worth of fentanyl, a kilo of cocaine, and 6 kilos of a suspected controlled substance. Spooky.
Don't even know what it
Must
is.
be
Yeah.
October. Identification of the substance is pending analysis. So the cop that knifed the package open and then licked it couldn't tell if it was coke or not.
Yeah, he's like, okay, yeah, this
Well,
is
he didn't
definitely
die.
fentanyl because like this part of my tongue is going numb. This is definitely cocaine because I'm speaking really fast. This one, we're gonna need to wait and see.
I think he would have been happy for his rat poison at that point.
Yeah.
So you're right.
What else we got?
Andrew, by the way, a bushel, or abbreviated as BSH or BU, is an imperial and U.S. customary unit of volume based upon an earlier measure of dry capacity.
Boom.
Point
Science
is,
and stuff.
You can fit 10 and a quarter kilos in a
10
suitcase.
bushels of weed and 10 bushels of meth are the same amount of space, but a different weight and street value.
Well, there you go. We finally
The more
figured
you
out
know.
what a bushel is.
I always knew what a bushel was. It's marijuana that confuses me. Actually, it's all illicit. So I don't do drugs. You guys know me. I drink. That's my vice. I drink.
Well, depending on where that alcohol came from, that might be an illegal substance.
No, it came from the brewery. They pay taxes.
No, then it's fine. It's totally okay.
Other things worthy of note in this large charge in Halton, which is why I'm bringing it up. I mean, not just because we love talking about fentanyl in this program, which seems to be a recurring theme. A very scary semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun. I'd like to know more details about that, please. And a 40 caliber handgun with an extended clip. It's extended.
It's
It's an
probably one of
extended
those,
clip, guys.
it's probably one of those Taurus curves that, you can just clip onto your pants.
So this is
In
kind
what
of weird
world does this-
because there was another case where a guy had a bunch of fentanyl or carfentanil. I mean, same thing, but one stronger than the other, and 40 caliber pistols. And then his brother went and did something weird with one of those 40 cal pistols.
Well, I mean, the 40 cal pistol is the gangbanger's Glock of choice, but that's only because it's easier to rhyme 40 than it is to rhyme 9.
Well, and then they got like a 40 and their 40, right?
I thought it was
That's
because
what I mean.
they
It's
can,
easier to rhyme.
you always
Yeah.
want to use the same ammunition as your opponent. So if you ever pick someone up off the street, and don't most cops carry 40 for some reason? Or a lot of cops carry 40?
Well, that's because
a
of
lot
the
of
knockdown power.
agencies issues 40, yes. Although more agencies are going towards 9 because of the difficulty that some officers may experience in qualifying with the very, very powerful 40 caliber round.
Yeah.
Also, at one point, ballistics, like terminal ballistics on 9 were not awesome. The expanding hollow point type ammunition that was being issued to agencies in the late 80s with the introduction of 9mm service pistols was not fantastic at stopping a threat. So following a shootout with FBI agents in Miami where they failed to shoot suspects through car windows using the Wonder 9s, the FBI moved to 40 caliber handguns to allow for penetration through
Yeah, because you shoot so many
Concealment?
people through car windows.
Yeah, they turned car windows and doors from cover into concealment with the use of 40 caliber hollow point rounds. Fortunately, in the last 20 or 30 years, manufacturing technology has caught up, and there are good 9mm hollow point options for duty use. So I think you'll see a lot of agencies are transitioning to 9s now because they have had problems with officers qualifying on the 40 due to the perceived recoil in its use.
Yeah, the downside is that you can't walk around with a car window as a bulletproof vest anymore.
Only in Miami. I don't understand the YouTube comment. A for effect. I thought hip hop was all about the deuce deuce. Maybe it was just sublime.
I think he's referring to the
I know
annoying,
as much about hip hop as I do about marijuana, which is to say very, very little.
Maybe it was the whole like it's just a 22 song that's really annoying.
I don't know it and I don't want to.
Yeah, no, you're not missing out.
I know.
I mean, the only deuce is a ma deuce.
I mean, I'm good with that. I'd take an M2.
Yeah.
Do a Toronto Sun here. This is I want to say it's an opinion piece, but it's presented as a column. I think it's an opinion piece. Police undermine
All
this Toronto
opinion
gun
pieces
violence.
presented as something other than opinion piece.
I mean, just stop having crime thought and you'll be fine. This is double plus good reporting. This is topical for the Wednesday show, you see. Police undermined as Toronto gun violence skyrockets. Shockingly, gun violence is up this year.
But they banned all those guns.
Yeah, but gun violence in
Inconceivable.
Toronto is up 12% over last year.
No, but law-abiding citizens are no longer allowed to use their assault rifles.
And
Gavin,
they're not doing straw purchases anymore, so there you go.
the criminals are just trying to get all their killing done now. So when the 2-year amnesty is over, they can hand in all their guns.
Genius.
Maybe. Not convinced. I think this more has to do with shutting down the Toronto anti-violence intervention strategy, and also the author in the article says carding. I don't know if that's strictly true. Carding stopped in 2014.
Yeah.
Violence in Toronto has definitely increased since 2014. No argument there. Carding alone, not sure that that's going to solve their problem. But I'm really glad they banned all of my AR-15s, because that's clearly helping with the gun violence in Toronto.
Yeah, we're so much safer now. So much. I mean,
Well,
not a
Gavin,
single law-abiding citizen has gone on a shooting rampage with their AR-15. Well, ever. I mean, so clearly the law is
remind me,
working.
how many crimes have AR-15s being used in the commission of in Canada? Is
Zero.
it still zero?
Zero.
Yeah, it's still zero.
there's
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
in there now, though, isn't there?
Yeah.
No, it was a crime, but it was only possession. I think there wasn't actually.
Yeah, there was no shootings were done in Canada with an AR.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody
Yeah.
holds up a bank in Canada with AR. Nobody's like doing
Yeah.
drive-bys with ARs. Nobody's intimidating people in Collingwood apartments with ARs.
Yeah, but the fact that one
Or I
hasn't
guess
happened between
Georgian Bluffs,
May 1st
close
and
enough.
now means the law is working. Also, for anyone interested, this Nalgene that I'm drinking out of keeps tigers away.
Yeah.
So I will gladly sell it to you if you have a tiger problem for $1,000.
I'm not going to lie. I'm interested in that Nalgene bottle.
Yeah. It's not a single tiger in the area.
I mean, it seems effective.
Must be true then.
It's also worth noting, I think, that while Toronto violence has increased, it is also increasing in other major urban centers in Canada, although not at the same rate for sure. Toronto seems to be much worse off.
But it almost seems to coincide, like gun violence is going up, the use of fentanyl is going up. It's maybe like those two things are related.
You're saying that there's some sort of a corollary effect, maybe causational.
Yeah, I mean, I can't quite
Well,
put my finger
you know what
on
I
it.
have to say about that, Gavin? You know what I have to say about that? Lies, damn lies, and statistics. Just because you're observing two things that seem to be related and are somehow corollary doesn't actually mean that it's a correlation.
Oh, all right, well,
But also, I
Could've
don't
sworn I
disagree
had-
with you. It
could
seems
have
like
sworn
this-
I had it there for a minute, but
It seems like we've been talking about fentanyl for a couple of years on the show, and we've been talking about the increase in violent crime where a firearm is present for the last couple of years on the show.
yeah,
And it seems like those are frequently intertwined.
yeah. There's a lot of data points that connect on this one.
Couple of three. What would you say the R value is? I guess it's the R square value. What is
I
the
don't know.
slope of the curve is what I'm asking.
But like, if you were to look at one of those diagrams where they put dots on it, there would be a big line down the middle, right? Like just like
Just a
that.
large line.
Yeah, there'd be a few outliers where like a guy just got caught with a gun or a guy just got caught with fentanyl. But then the bulk of them would be right down the middle where it's like, yep, Guns and drugs.
That's weird. Guns and drugs
Yeah.
are somehow related.
Yeah.
It's like the criminals keep committing crime. That's unexpected.
Inconceivable.
Can we do a book report on a movie? That would be fun.
It's got to
Our
be based
show,
on a
we can
book.
do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's got to be based on a book at some point.
Well, I mean, he's reading
was
the
Princess
book.
Bride based on a book?
It's not a book. I mean,
wow.
he's reading the book to the kid. So there's a book in the movie.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
in theory,
All right,
the
good.
movie
We're
is
putting
the
Princess
book.
Bride on the we're putting Princess Bride on the Book and Rifle Club.
Yeah.
I don't
Be
know
good
who's
times.
watching TV, but okay.
The Princess Bride is a 1973 romance fantasy novel by American writer William Goldman.
Oh, it's actually a book?
It is actually a book.
There you go.
Oh, man, that's got to be the greatest book ever written. All right,
Well,
it's
so for
definitely
Bitter
going on the
Harvest.
list.
Yeah.
Definitely going on the list.
And it turns out a first edition, signed first edition, is currently going for $1,326 on eBay US.
We need your help to become a Patreon. Sign up today by going to patreon.com/CPP.
All that means is it's no longer in print. I've found books for thousands of dollars just because they're no longer in print. People put them up on eBay for ridiculous sums of money.
Either way, we need your help. There are now 6 things that we're asking you to do a day. The 6th thing is become a Patreon and give us your money.
Yeah, I kind of want a copy. I don't care if it's a signed first edition, although that would be cool. I think I want to read this book because that sounds amazing.
I'm in. I mean, we got to read something, so we may as well throw a fun one in every now and again.
Well, talking about things we got to read and fun ones. Tune in Wednesday. It's book club this week. Midweek show is going to be George Orwell's 1984. Next month, well, I guess technically later this month, when book club returns to its war with East Asia, because we've always been at war with East Asia, we'll be doing Left of Bang, How the Marine Corps' Combat Hunter Program Can Save Your Life by Patrick Van Horn. So you've got time to get that on Amazon. You don't have 1984. I mean, I guess you could prime it today, and maybe if you had nothing else to do Tuesday and Wednesday, you could read it, get it tomorrow, read it, and be ready for the show. But I mean,
It's not a big
we're going
book
to talk
either.
about the good bits. It's
No,
300
and
pages, but it's not dense.
You're pretty much living through it right now, so there's that too.
Well, that's, I think, going to be a big part of Book and Rifle Club on Wednesday.
I've watched
also
a
Left of
synopsis
Bang.
of it. Is that okay?
No,
No.
it's Book Club, not Watch Synopsis Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine because we're going to talk about themes. I don't want to criticize writing style and stuff. I want to talk about like the content of the book.
Yeah.
The October book is Left of Bang. If you haven't got that, Amazon links in the show notes. As always, big Luau shirt link is in the show notes if you want the official big Luau shirt. We just say that's the official big Luau shirt because that's what we've all bought because it's definitely worth the $20. Real coconut buttons. But if you use our Amazon affiliate link, we get a little bit of money, and I appreciate that because last month our listeners bought my son diapers. They don't know that, but like that's what I used the affiliate revenue for, was to pay for a month's worth of diapers. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. You can also do other fun things with the shirt. You can turn it into a holster. If you talk to the good folks at Gray Fox Strategic.
Yep. Won't melt when you make it into a holster. Will definitely melt if you put it anywhere near an open flame.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't be near open flames.
Yeah, so
Definitely
when you
a fire hazard.
keep your tiki torch out, away from the shirt. Like,
Social distance yourself.
yeah.
All right, let's go around. Gavin, where can everybody find you on the internet?
The best place to find me is on the gram, urbex_GTA.
All right. Ian, where can we find you? I've heard you have another podcast. You're cheating on us.
I do. Actually, first of all, email change for me. You can reach me at the Western Retreat at gmail.com.
No.
Plans are afoot, let me tell you. You can also see me on Canadian Prepper Podcast. We record Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern. We do it live on YouTube and Facebook, much like this podcast.
All right. Benny, where can everybody find you?
BennyLewis.ca. It looks like we're going to get some knives soon. So,
Exciting.
yeah. More details to come.
All right. As always, my name is Andrew. You can find me at RagnarokTactical.ca. If you've listened to the show this long, you deserve a discount code. Use the discount code Patriot at checkout when you're buying your first aid supplies or body armor or plate carriers or any of the fine high-speed Gear Inc. accessories that we sell, because every day can be Taco Tuesday. That's on RagnarokTactical.ca. We value your opinion. You can send us your feedback at feedback@CanadianPatriotPodcast.com. Send us an email. Let us know what you think. Also, if you haven't done so and you have the iTunes, if you could leave us a 5-star review, I would appreciate it. We have not seen any new reviews on the iTunes in quite some time.
Okay.
Also, remember, we do a listener feedback show. We're bringing that back in the very near future. Things got kind of out of whack the last couple of weeks, and
Yeah. The
I don't
listener
really
feedback.
apologize for it, but
The listener feedback has always not been the first week of the month.
that's right. We're going to get things back on track. Listener feedback's going back to the first Wednesday of the month. Book and Rifle Club's going back to the last Wednesday of the month. Regular programming on Monday nights. I've had some nonsense. When we get a show on and we get Dave and I get our schedules lined up, we'll probably talk about Gay Service Pistol Championships. I guess it's not Gay Service Pistol when we do it with the Operational Shooting Association, but Dave and I did a pistol match, and then I got in the middle of renovations, and then we had some health issues in our family, so things have been a little bit nuts the last couple of weeks. And
Should we give them a little teaser about what we have coming up? For the fans of GSP? If you attend the GSP matches at Guelph, we've got something else more exciting coming. Should we give them the name, or should we just leave it at that?
Give them a little bit more. Not a lot more. Give them a little bit more of a taste.
All right. So it all kind of started over beers this weekend
As all
after
good things
Partisan
do.
Rifle. And we had a listener that wanted to up his ante when it comes to shooting pistol. So as Andrew and I are big movie fans and also gun fans, we've decided to kind of smash the two things together. So that's right. Movie-themed pistol shooting. It's happening. That's all I can say.
All right. I like it. I'll take it. So,
Should I order the Kevlar black business suit now or later?
I mean, if you don't already have one, you're kind of late to the party.
I suppose, yeah.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah.
Oh, a white beater shirt. And oh, perfect.
Ian picked up on that and sees where this is going.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. We'll fill you in
Okay.
after the show, which is another reason why you should become a Patreon, because if you give us enough money, you can join us on the pre or post show banter and hear all about this stuff.
Spoiler alert, today's pre-show banter was me cussing about my microphone not working, but you couldn't hear it.
Yeah. not nearly as exciting as the post show is going to be when we explain to Ian how he's right.
I think we'll leave it there. With that, I need to apologize to Rod Giltaka. Rod does not come to movie night, so Rod will not be coming to movie-themed pistol night. And for all of our listeners out there in podcast land, I would like to remind you that you are the true North, strong and free.